Hey guys, I'm doing a review of the Atmos AG50, is what I used on the SHT trail. This was the big three. I think this thing weighs in right around under or a little bit over 4 pounds. So that could be a factor for some people. The good thing about it weighing that much is that it's super durable at heavy weights. I think this is rated for 50 to about 60 pounds you can put in this, and it'll ride comfortably. My experience with it would suggest that as well. I'd say the more weight you have in it, the more comfortable the bag is. Once you start taking weight out of it, the bag actually is a little bit more uncomfortable. You're constantly readjusting and doing all sorts of stuff, so it's kind of weird that, you know, when you put 20 pounds in it, it's not as comfortable as when it has 40 pounds in it. So it's actually more comfortable. It actually wants weight in it. Big selling point on this would be the anti-gravity, which I believe worked out really well. There's a lot of cushion on the shoulder pads. The pockets were okay. It held my iPhone 10 okay, and then I had, I think, I had my maps and everything else in there, and then I put some other stuff in this other piece here. There's this fit on the go, or fit on the fly, so you can adjust how far away it is on your, depending on how your waist size and everything else. There's definitely a lot of adjustments for that, so this is even for your height. This will move up and down to adjust that. And with all those adjustments, that was one thing that took me a while to figure out, because at different weights there's so many different adjustments. There's your load lifters, and then you have your height, and then your waist, and then even when, if you're carrying the brain up here, depending on where you adjust this to, made a difference on how the bag was on, that how it felt on your body, and then obviously your shoulder adjustments there. So I ran into a guy on the trail called Lieutenant Dan, and he said he used his Atmos 50, it was either 50 or 65 on the trail, and he said it took him about 7 days to get all the adjustments, and that kind of holds true to me as well. It took me a couple days, and even after that, even after I met Lieutenant Dan around day 3 or 4, I was still adjusting it every time. I'd lose some weight on it, or different places started rubbing differently, so I would just constantly, it seemed like I was constantly adjusting it, even on the last day. But eventually I did kind of dial it in and get the bag to where I wasn't doing as many adjustments, thank goodness. Oh, here, one thing to note: if you don't have this adjustment right, this is a hard piece, so this will just dig into your shoulder blades really bad. So this is like the first adjustment you need to figure out. If you do get this bag, you need to figure that one out, because otherwise it's just gonna be painful to carry the bag if you don't get that just right. It's got a brain. I did use a water bladder in it, so but I did not use I just had it sitting on the top, and then the hose running out. But it does have a place for the water bladder. There's a ton of reviews on this if you guys want details. The only real hole I got was this right out of the mesh which isn't a big deal. I'll put some Lucas tape on that or something, or just leave it as is. You know, I was just shoving stuff in there all the time. I think I actually ripped it. How did I? I'm not sure. I think I may have actually tried to put this in there and ripped it. So that's why that kind of ended up. That's the Deuce number 2. I'll do a review on that, I guess, a real quick review on that. Let's see, what else? If you guys have any questions on it, I think it was a pretty durable bag. I had no real issues with any kind of material ripping other than this little small rip in the mesh. And I was not careful with it whatsoever. I thought I was just going to return it back to REI because I bought it at REI. But I'm going to end up keeping it because you can really load this bag down. And even though I complain about all the adjustments on it, there's a ton of adjustments that will allow you to put 50 or 60 pounds in here and then carry it comfortably. So other than that, what else? Another thing that a lot of people talk about is the zippers. So when you open these up, you're gonna have to almost grab with your other hand and pull. So a lot of people just go to about this point to opening it. I thought there was enough space in there for everything. I had an iPhone 10, so it held that fine, and then I had a few other things in there as well with the iPhone 10. But that's about all I really want to talk about the bag. I think it runs, I'm not sure if I said this or not, I think it runs in just a little over 4 pounds. So, or right under 4 pounds, somewhere around there. But that is what I used on the SHT trail, was this Atmos AG50. I'm gonna keep the bag. There's, I believe, a lifetime warranty. If I have any issues, any rippage or anything like that, Atmos will do the replacements. I did buy the Rainfly. I think this thing was almost $40. I would say don't buy it and just buy some spray to make it a little bit more water repellent, because if you put that on, it doesn't cover any of this, so all this will still get wet, and then this will soak up into the rest of the bag anyways, so your whole bag is going to get wet anyways. So save yourself the $40 and don't get the Rainfly. Use a garbage bag inside instead, like a contractor bag. I used seal line bags, and even though they failed on me, luckily they failed after all the rain came through. So I had no issues with wet gear or anything else. But if I would have just thought that, just the Rainfly will be fine, and I just shoved all my stuff, all my gear in there, everything would have been soaking wet, even with the Rainfly on there. So keep that in mind. So if you guys have any questions, there's a lot of videos about this Atmos AG50. And I think I addressed all the negatives that everybody else is saying about the bag. So, other than that, I think it's a great bag. I am not going to return it to REI, so that should say something. I think the bag was a little bit over $200, $250 maybe. So, runs about equal to a lot of other bags, so go take your pick. I thought that the anti-gravity system, that's kind of what sold me on it. I tried on 3 or 4 bags before this, and I ended up with this one. So I tried on lighter bags, I tried on the Gregory as well. So, and I ended up with this. I thought it was the most comfortable bag out of the 3 or 4 bags that I did carry, and I did carry around about 30 pounds in each bag for about 45 minutes, so I really did kind of get a feel. I was at REI for like 4 hours, just wandering around, looking, put a bag on, then kind of walking around this whole store for an hour, and then trying another bag, doing the same thing. So that's the cool thing about REI. You can do that kind of stuff, and I would suggest before you go out and spend $200-300 on a backpack, you should probably do the same. Really try it on before, or at least have that option from REI that you can just take it back in and be like, I don't like the bag, and that's after a year as well. So I could still change my mind, but I doubt it. Alright, any questions on the Atmos AG50? Leave them in the comments and I might answer them.